Hi, this is Bob Sorrentino from Italian Roots and Genealogy, and I have a great guest today, Frank DiPiero from Keeping It Real with Frankie D. So, welcome, Frank. Thanks for being here.
Bob, thank you so much for having me. I'm in the other chair for probably the very first time. I don't think I've ever really been interviewed. So thank you.
Uh, yeah, I did it. I did it once, and it is strange being on the other end. That's for sure. So, I want to talk a little bit about your podcast and your website. But before we do that, you come from two Italian parents, yes?
Absolutely, yes,
And where
yes.
where are they from?
So my mom's side is from they're from Sicily, and it's a small town called Sant'Ambrogio, and it's about 4 kilometers outside of Cefalù, which is right on the coast. Cefalù is a beautiful, beautiful place. Uh, Attracts a lot of European tourists that come to the beaches. There's a famous cathedrale there. It's really beautiful, and it's a very small town, like I say, Sant'Ambrogio. And then my father's side is from a very small town as well, but in Abruzzo, and it's called Bugnara, and it's outside of a bigger city called Sulmona. And Sulmona has something that it's very well known for. It is the city of the confetti, the um candy coated almonds that they give out at the weddings. So
Really?
Sulmona, yes, Sulmona is like the capital of where they make confetti, and they sell them all over the world. So yeah, two different regions there. Proud of both, and
Now, and
that's how I
as soon as you said confetti, I knew what you meant, right?
exactly. Yeah,
But the
no,
young kids
absolutely.
probably were thinking about confetti.
You're 100% right. I don't even know if back, I think in the day, confetti were like a staple at
Yes.
weddings. I don't think they are as much now, although it's still, I mean, they're still sold, like I said, but I don't think it's as popular.
No, no, I don't think so either. But although I haven't been to an Italian wedding in quite some time, and now, have you researched the family's back?
Well, it's yes, yes. I mean, I've been to Italy many times. I've been to both towns. I the It's ironic though. Within the past maybe 2 months, a girl reached out to me, and that's the beauty of all this, social media. There are some beauty things and there's some really horrible things. But one of the beauty things is about 2 months ago, a girl reaches out to me that's related on my father's side, and this girl did extensive research of the family and of Bunyada, and she's been sending me things left and right, and it's just amazing, because I mean she's going back generations and generations, which is very interesting, extremely interesting.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, so how did she find you? Like Facebook or something?
I think on Facebook, maybe that Facebook Messenger, because I believe Facebook Messenger, you don't have to be friends with
That's right.
someone, so you can type a name in, and we have the same last name, so I guess that's the way she found me. And at first when she said, like, you're the son of so and so and the grandson of so and so, and I'm like, yeah, this girl knows what she's talking about. And then she just sent me all this extensive stuff of, like, I mean, literally, like, my grandfather's great grandfather, and it's just very interesting to see the lineage and the names and all that. So she did my homework for me. It's like I'm back in school. Somebody did my homework.
That's
So no, it's a wonderful thing, and I'll tell you, I'm in Chicago, but she lives in Florida, and she has like a Facebook page dedicated to the town Bunyada. She has a website, and I was thinking, like, boy, it would be just wonderful, really, really wonderful, to try to create like a little Bunyada reunion in Bugnara, in Italy.
yeah,
I realize
yeah.
that's not an easy thing, but there's unfortunately, my father's side, hardly anyone was in Chicago. I mean, like no
Really?
paisans. There was just one relative, and that's it. So my father's side, they're more out in Youngstown, Ohio, and they're in Pennsylvania. My mother's side, many people, but my father's side, like next to nobody. So this is really cool for me. And hey, maybe you never know. You never know. Maybe one day in a couple of years, you put it out there, and whoever shows, and that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we were supposed to be there last month. We had to cancel twice because of COVID, and I'm kind of sorry we did this time. I think it probably would have been okay, but I was doing a thing with Italy Rooting where she was going to have these special events for us, and when we spoke in August, she was like, I can't be sure that they're not going to close a region. So we're gonna hopefully, well, I'm going anyway in May. I don't care, but I was supposed to meet 20 cousins that, up until a few years ago, I never knew existed in Italy. And I just found a second cousin from my grandmother, my father's mother, that no one in the family had a clue. I mean, we didn't know we had any relatives in Italy, nevertheless, a second cousin. So it's really pretty awesome when you find that stuff out. And
Oh, without a doubt, it is. It's one of my greatest memories was the first time. I'll never forget in my life the first time that I went to Italy when I flew into Rome, and I went with a buddy, and I was very lucky because the friend at this point, we were 19. He had been to Italy like 15 times.
oh wow,
So
yeah,
he spoke fluent Italian. It was like his second country. I mean, it was for him. It was easy, and I went with him, so I benefited from his knowledge. And he actually had a girlfriend in Rome, and we must have taken a bus or a cab or something and went into Rome. And I remember standing on a corner, and I'm just looking around, and the story's even more significant because this is pre-internet. So the world wasn't a small place when I was 19. It was a big place, and it wasn't that I could just pop into my computer. There were no computers. I couldn't look up these things. So I'm standing in Rome on a corner. I'm looking around, and I'm just overwhelmed that me, this kid from Chicago, is standing in Rome, Italy. I just couldn't believe it. And then the first times that I went to these two towns, my mom's town and my dad's town, it was just amazing for me. It blew me away, literally. The fact that I was there, and an interesting story with my mom's side. So Cefalù, when you're standing on the beach and you look out, you could see water, you see a big mountain, and then you see the Cattedrale, which is this famous Cattedrale. And a lot of people apparently, must take wedding pictures standing in this spot. So, my whole life in my grandfather's house, there were all these wedding pictures of all my grandpa's, nieces and nephews. And, you're a little kid. It didn't mean really much to me.
mm-hmm.
And then when I was standing there and I'm looking out and I'm like, oh my God, that's the picture. I'm standing in the spot of the picture
yeah,
that I've
right.
looked at my whole life. But like I said, you're a kid, you don't know anything. And that pre-internet world, it was a different world. The only thing you knew about Italy was pictures. That's
right,
it.
right.
Pictures, literally just pictures. That's it. There was no videos. There was no Google. There was no, I mean, nowadays we can experience everything in the world by just pushing a button on a computer.
Yeah. And, we went 25 years ago. I worked in the UK for 2 years, so it was an easy trip. It was 2 hours. It was fantastic. And we went to Rome, of course, and then to Sorrento. And, walking around Sorrento, I'm walking around and my wife says to me, you love it here, don't you? And I said, I feel like I'm among my people. Now, she's half Sicilian, half Puerto Rican. But I said, I feel like I'm with my people. And then, walking around the town and seeing, the Sorrentino butcher and the Sorrentino this. And then right in the middle of the town was the Circolo Sorrentino. And it was Sunday morning, maybe 10 o'clock or something like that. There was nobody in the place. And I wanted to get my picture taken in the place. And I went up and he spoke a little English. I went up to the maitre d' or waiter or whatever he was. And I said, can I I'm a Sorrentino from America. Can I come in and take a picture? And he says, no, you don't come in. I said, no, I just for a second, I want to take a picture. I'm sorry. And he says, no, 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 you can't come in. I said, even for a second. And he went like this with his head. And there were the four guys with the fedoras and the cigars sitting in the corner. And I said, okay, I understand.
Wow.
Probably any other time of the day, I probably would have been able to go in.
Absolutely, yes.
But like you said, and I've talked. You feel different,
100%. And that's why also, I'm very involved with the Italian community in Chicago, and I'm very concerned with the younger people and where our ethnic group is going, because I don't feel like it's not going upward. The arrow's not pointing up, it's pointing down. And that's just an obvious thing. It's 2021, it's not the same. I know in Chicago, there's Italian neighborhoods basically don't exist. There's a trickling in a couple of areas. People don't come here from Italy anymore. There's no mass immigration. Generations have passed and passed and passed, and it's just different. So it's an actual concern. And for me, the one solution that can change things is a trip to Italy, like you just said. Like I said in my story, the impact of that trip to Italy is priceless. So for me, I'm on a crusade. I feel like we as a community need to organize a trip to Italy every summer for younger people, like that 18 to 25-year-old range, because odds are, very good odds are, that trip to Italy is going to make a major impact on that person that's going to stay with them for a lifetime, that is going to create more interest in our ethnic group, in their own ethnic group, which they probably, some of them would be involved, and it would create future leaders. I think it's the number one thing to get to younger people, hands down. There's nothing else as close.
Yeah, no, I agree. Maybe that's something that you and I and maybe Anthony Riccio from Boston, we work on together to do something. That's a fantastic idea, because that's why I do what I do. I feel like that the culture is being left behind.
For sure, and that's why, I feel like it's almost like an obligation, a responsibility. Like, we need to do this. And when you hear countless stories, I'm sure you do, you come across this in your podcast. I do as well. And you're interviewing somebody, and it's like, I went to Italy and it changed everything. I just hear this repeatedly. Well, if that's the case, I'm on these, I'm involved with a lot of things. And there's this national group now of Conference of the Presidents. And it's people all over the country. And it's very interesting. It's very interesting to hear other people's insights into this. But the recurring theme is, how are we going to get to the youth? How are we going to get to the youth? Mm-hmm. Our club, our organization, there's no young people. How are we going to get there? And I'm like yelling from the rooftops, like, hey, if we have a problem there, and that's the problem for everyone in the country, we need to do something different. That any intelligent person would say, of course, you can't keep doing the same thing. Well, I don't want to cross over and offend anyone. That's not my point of anything. I always say, I'm speaking from Chicago. I know Chicago. I'm born and raised Chicago. So in Chicago, we give away probably collectively $100,000 to $200,000 a year on scholarships. And what we get in return for that as an ethnic community, mind you, is nothing. We get nothing back. There's no, you say to the kid, well, are you going to study Italian in college? You're going to study Italian American studies? Are you going to help us? Are you going to get involved? There's nothing. There's just, here's your $3,000. Good luck. And that pays for a class or two. And, and my thing is always, the majority of these people, this is not a hardship thing. This is, Joe's nephew, Pete's neighbor, and Tony's friend. And we just give these things. And it's like, pretty much these kids are going to college regardless. They're not going to college for that $3,000 scholarship. We're not asking them to, part of it is you have to study Italian. So we're getting nothing in return. And if we put this money together and came up with a trip to Italy, that I'd have no problem with them being part of the people that go, the impact would be major. But one thing with Italian Americans, it's very difficult to convince them of doing different things. They feel like, I know I'm always, like, who are you to tell us what to do with our money? No, they rather have that dinner, that gala where they give out the award and everybody feels like we accomplished so much. It's great. I'm not discouraging education. I'm not discouraging anything. But ethnically speaking, there's no effect with that scholarship. None.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and that's that's one of the things that was so great when I got in touch with Anthony Riccio, and I I probably do what you do. I mean, I search around for authors and I find interesting people, but that's what's so great about what Anthony's does, because he recorded the voices of people 40 years ago, Italian immigrants from 40 years ago. They were in their 70s then, and so when I get goosebumps when I talk about it. When I hear this 75-year-old woman that came here in 1910, maybe 1905, talk about Italy, and being on the farm, and her mother going, oh, my mother, she called her the chickens, beep 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 beep. It's amazing to me, and to your point, the kids today, they didn't grow up like us. They didn't grow up with the Italian family, and they didn't talk about Italy that much, but you had that kind of togetherness type of thing, and going to the Italian neighborhood where everybody on the block was Italian and stuff like that.
Absolutely. That stuff's not around anymore.
Yeah.
I would love to talk. We got to, we should do a Zoom with Anthony one day. And, I just feel like more heads that kind of buy into what I'm saying. I think, why couldn't this happen? What I would love?
Yeah.
I would love to tell these organizations, 1 year, let's try this. And then if it turns out a disaster, well, you can tie me up on a wall and throw darts at me, and we'll be even. But I heard I think it was the Italian American podcast, and I sent him an email. It was one of the actors, an actor, and he never responded, which I was kind of sad about. But I guess they get tortured by a lot of people. But they were talking about this kind of same type of thing, and they were saying that these Italian Americans that made it, actors, actresses, politicians, they don't do anything for us. But they don't invest in the they don't invest. They don't. But Bob, the national organizations tend to give them awards and honor them.
Yeah.
And that's why you want better. And I brought this up last night in a Zoom with an Italian American Leadership Network thing. And it's just interesting because I love hearing people's thoughts, because this is my favorite topic every day. Okay. I told them last night, there's this big deal with Italian American Heritage Month in October. I said, that's my Heritage Month every month, every day, every day.
Every hour.
Every hour. So, where was I? Oh, so we're like, I don't understand these national organizations, because part of our thing is this, anti-defamation, and we got to get people, the American public, to look at us beyond Jersey Shore and Sopranos. But then we honor the people who make these productions and star in them. Now, I'm not here to tell anybody how they should make a buck. You're an actor, you got a part, you can make, God bless, do what you got to do. But we're going to honor the guy that's bringing us down in one regards. Now, like you said, if this actor ponied up and said, I'm going to make a donation of $250,000 dedicated to Italian language and culture classes for kids K through 12, I'd say, God bless, give him the award. I'll shine it. But when he doesn't do anything for us, and we're just based solely on he's famous and we're going to have a dinner and have him there and I'm going to take pictures with him. I don't buy into it. I don't care about that guy. That guy's meaningless to me. I was telling him last night, the man who volunteers at our community center, our Italian community center in Chicago, that just comes there voluntarily and paints and cleans and plasters the walls because the walls are so old. They're made of plaster, not even drywall. That's my hero. That's the guy I want to honor, not some actor because he's famous. See, that's where our leadership is deranged. Like they're more concerned with that stuff. I could care less about that stuff. I don't want to take a picture with that actor. That does nothing for me. Give me a picture with the guy plastering the wall.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So that's a good segue into your website, which you talk about Italian American life and everything. So what does your website? What's the intent of your website?
So basically, I kind of fell into doing a podcast when I didn't even know what that word meant at the time. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not really up to date on stuff. I'm not technological. If I didn't have my son to help me with all the computer stuff, I couldn't even do it. But yes, started this podcast, started interviewing, trying to capture important things, information, stories that I felt that our people should know about. I'm not so much into, Sunday dinner stories, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a beating a dead horse with the family gathers for Sunday dinner. That's awesome. And that was great, but we got to get beyond it. We got to get, there's a lot of stuff we got to accomplish and let be known. So do the podcast and the interviews. And then I started on my son's suggestion, doing a thing called Italian American Moments, which is a short minute video specifically because the attention span of people is not very large. And this hits directly an invention, an accomplishment, an interesting tale that in 1 minute I spew out a ton of words and hope that it arouse interest. Okay. Sometimes I tape these videos on site of something that's appropriate for it. Like, for example, I just taped in front of a Montessori school in Chicago. I did a little minute video about Maria Montessori. What is a Montessori school? Who's Maria Montessori? So I'm just trying to give them quickie information. Okay. An Italian immigrant invented the ice cream cone. The list goes on and on and on. I think we're up to like 80 moments. And like I said, it's just, and one thing with me, the podcast, the Italian American Moments, anything on my website, it's called Keepin Real with Frankie D, but I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Me personally, I'm insignificant here. It doesn't matter about me. I'm just the guy that's coming out of my mouth. That's all. I want our people to take what I'm saying, the information, and run with it. It's not about me. It's funny you share it on Facebook because that's the best way to get to people, right? And then once in a while I have a Facebook group and it'll turn me down and it'll say no selfie videos. And it's like, are you kidding me here? Selfie video?
I know that aggravates me too.
I'm spending my life researching, writing, taping, this, that, information for our people. And this guy would rather have a thing about ravioli because you know why? They don't even know any better. But it's okay. I'm not taking it personally. The point is, I'm trying to spread all this information. So the website's ItalianAmericanLife.com. And like I said, I'm involved with a lot of things on the website. I also have some, occasionally if it's a holiday and there's a certain tradition or a cultural thing that we do food-wise, I will tape a video of that. I was very lucky. My wife was born in Italy. She was born in Calabria. So, I've been with much more an influx of Italian people for the past 35 years. Like I say, I don't want these things to die. We had an Italian club in Chicago, an actual building that, like everything else, money disappeared, interest disappeared. it ended. In fact, they knocked the building down.
Oh, wow.
So we used to have these monthly dinners, and it was great. And, you know, I'm the type of guy, like, I always think to myself, well, why can't I do it then? You know what I mean? So we don't have the club. So, you know, went around. I know a lot of guys with restaurants, women with restaurants, and like, hey, could we do this menu, this set price? So we started doing these dinners, not all the time, 3-4 times a year, but we've been doing them for about 9 years. And we call it Little Italy Cenetta. A cenetta is little dinner. Okay, a cena is a dinner, cenetta is a little dinner. And I'm the type of guy, like, build it and they shall come. So you say, well, it's a dinner. What's a big deal? Well, you know what, though? When you bring Italians together, good stuff can happen from that. So just being together with these 50, 60, 70, 80 people, you know, if there's anything in the community happening, I'll, you know, do real quickie notifications in the beginning, speech, if you will. I talk super fast, which I can, because I know people don't come there to listen to me. But if it's something important, I usually, you know, I subscribe to all these magazines, newspapers. So I put on a table, I spread it out, all this stuff. And I always say to everybody, take it. It's free. Take it, take it, take it. I want people to read it and, you know, arouse interest. And on very rare occasions, because I don't want, what it is, you know, whatever the price from the restaurant guy is, if it's $35, he charges me $35. I charge the people $35. So there's no money to make. Occasionally, I would have a raffle to raise money for an exclusive Italian cause. Only that. Be it, we raised money. We started an Italian American Studies program at Loyola University in Chicago. I thought that was a good cause. We raised money we have 2 feast bands in Chicago. 2. There's hardly any left in the entire United States of America.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yes. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
White shirts and the hats. Yeah. It's a treasure. Well, the guy comes to me one day and he's like, "Well, we need to buy some equipment, some hats." He's like, he tried the major organizations in Chicago, nothing. GoFundMe, $20. I said, I'll tell you what, the next dinner we have, I'm going to do a raffle. I'm going to give you the money. So I think the people that come, the guys that come, it's like, I think they trust me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a very, what you see is what you get type of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm a man of my word. You know, if I say that dinner's $35 and you're going to get this, this, and this, well, damn it, you get this, this, and this, and you pay $35. Okay. So years into this, yeah, I think they trust me. So, you know, I said, hey guys, we're going to have a raffle. You know, I personally just get some stuff and get the tickets, and we're going to raise money for the band. I don't even think they really even, but it's like, okay, it's a good thing. Boom. Give me this, $10, $20, lo and behold, we do the raffle, raise $900. I handed it to the guy. He was just like, wow, nobody does this. So I'm not trying to, I'm just saying we're in it from the heart.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. You know, like I said, me, you, Anthony, and there's a bunch of other people in it. And, you know, in fact, you know, with the podcast, we have some people that we interviewed, you know, John Cavallone and Carla Simonini and Lou Del Bianco, which was a fantastic story. I had no idea that an Italian American was up there, you know, fixing Jefferson's nose and all of this crap.
I mean, all 3 people you named are just great quality people. Carla is the head of this Italian American program at Loyola University. I mean, what a great thing. And the leader, the king of that, was a man named Dominic Candeloro.
Yes, I've spoken to Dominic. Yeah.
Okay, Dominic had to raise $500,000, and in Chicago, in the Italian American community, it might as well have been $2 billion. And people laughed. And that man, by hook or by crook, begged, borrow, and steal, and he raised $500,000. God bless him.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah, that was an amazing thing, and you know, just a teeny tiny small part of it, because there were many people in our community that most people didn't understand what an actual Italian American Studies program was, and that's okay. But a lot of people, and people that are like, you know, big time people in the community, they could care less. They didn't.
I
They were
know,
not
I know.
interested. It wasn't going to be about them. They weren't going to get to be with some famous person or a politician, and they could care less. One thing you'll understand about me, Bob, I speak the truth.
Yeah,
I
no,
call
I'm
it
the
like
same way. I'm the same way. And I did a post, and I found it quite by accident. That there was seven Italians at the Battle of Little Bighorn. I didn't
wow.
know that. I never knew that. And as I started researching it, and only one guy survived. Is John Martin. That was his U.S. Army, Giovanni Martini. And he survived because he was the bugler, and they sent him to go tell the other general or colonel or whatever that we're surrounded by Indians.
Wow, that's a great story.
But who knew this? I
Who
never
knew
knew this
this?
guy. And
Well,
and it's
God
the same.
bless you. God bless you to keep these kind of
And
stories.
it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Luigi Del Bianco. Here's a guy. He was a master carver, and just kind of out of the blue, he gets this awesome job that he quit several times because he didn't like what was going on. But who knows this stuff? And to your point about people caring and not caring, I've gotten some comments on it, but very few people even react to that, like going, like, "Wow, that's an incredible story."
Right. But you know what though? I don't let it discourage me.
No, I don't
I'm
either.
not gonna stop because of people and like I say, it's almost it's obviously it's a passion. It comes from your blood, from your veins, from your heart, or you wouldn't do all this.
Right.
Because this is not about any personal wealth or gain or anything. It's
Far
because
from
I
it.
love it. So I mean, it's awesome, and I always say to myself, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, no, that's what I do. I've kind of found two young guys that are doing it, and one of them, in fact, at some point in time, and when I get too old to do this, I'm hoping he'll take over some of this stuff, I feel good that at least I found a couple of young guys that are interested in keeping this thing going. But I think some of the things you suggested, like getting the younger people to go and see and connect with their culture, because I've been researching my families for probably close to 15 years now, and it helps you find out who you are. That's the way I feel. That's
Without
what
a
I
doubt.
feel.
In Italy, on the whole, is an incredible place. I mean, it's got the most UNESCO World Heritage sites. It's number one by far. It's like not even close with the rest of the world. And it's such a magical place. And like I said, I'm not saying if you send 100 kids there, 100 are going to come back and go, "Oh my God, this is tremendous, and this is going to be my life." I don't mean that. But I know if you send 100 kids there, odds are it's going to impact pretty much all of them. And I think it may impact to another level a few.
I agree.
Go there and it literally changes their life. That's how incredible. I'm pretty confident about that. And as far as learning about your ethnic background, that's the easiest. That's the quickest. That's the best. There's nothing else. You could have 10 million festivals and eat 20 million sausage sandwiches with peppers. It ain't going to do it compared to that. Those are great things too. I'm not discouraging anyone from going. That's awesome. But it cannot be in place of, as a substitute of real knowledge of your background, of your family background.
Yeah, I agree. So before we go, just give everybody the website name and the podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. So my show is called Keepin with the apostrophe at the end, no G. Keeping It Real with Frankie D. I am Frankie D. My website is ItalianAmericanLife.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. I post all my moments on there. I post a link for every podcast I do. Very involved with our community center, Casa Italia, just outside of Chicago. and involved in anything. If it's Italian, I'm there.
Well, that's great. Well, thanks again, Frank. I appreciate the time.
Bob, thank you so much. It was great. Thank you.